about to leave, already packing, come with me, I'm not really.
Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy For Now. It's time for another KU check-in, and since my last check-in, they've upped the checkout increase to 20 books, and listen, it's a problem. It is a big problem, so we're just gonna call this a fresh slate. I'm gonna go through the books I've checked out. I'll tell you if I know anything about them. Probably don't. Probably saw them mentioned one time on Twitter or BookTube and said, yes, please, click. It's a problem, but it's fine. It's fine. So one quick check-in, my KU TBR shelf is currently sitting at 174 books. This does include, this fluctuates because I will try to make sure I put books that are in KU when I see them on that shelf. But also sometimes I will read a book via audio from Hoopla or the library, etc. from KU, and that'll pull things off that shelf. But current status. My goal is hopefully next month that number will go down because we have not. This month's been bad, y'all. It's been bad. But we're gonna just quickly go through the titles. So I still have Love Scammed by Rilsey Adams checked out. I know this is about a friend getting tricked to go on a vacation with a guy. I really need to read it. I really like Rilsey's writing. I just like, they're that thing where I'm like breaking a case of glass. So I just keep them on my Kindle for the inevitable moment in which I need it. The same thing goes for Birthday Shot. I know this is about a girl on her birthday shooting her shot with her brother's best friend. I've read like the first chapter, and right now I have some other stuff going on, so I like kind of put it back again and was like, I'm gonna read this freaking book in the next month. I have to read one of these two before the next check-in, and if I don't, y'all gonna make fun of me in the comments. We're gonna give me some good old-fashioned peer pressure. The next is A Lady of Brooksgrave Manor by Catherine Moon. This is the reverse harem monster romance that everyone loves and I'm very excited for. I also have Girls Weekend by CM Nakasta. This is the same lady who wrote Morning Glory Milking Farm, and this is actually one of my Patreon picks for the month of September. So I'm actually hopefully going to be reading it very soon by the time you see this video, or will have already read it. But yeah, this is about like two friends, so it's two different couples it follows on a trip, and I started it last night actually before I filmed this, and I really like the intro to this as well, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think it's gonna be like a solid 3.5 because nothing can compare to Rourke right now. Then we have Rebellion by Saban Davis. This is book 2 in the Resurrection series, and I do plan on reading it. I just know it's really heavy, so I kind of want to like read something light, read this, read something light. I also have Sicko by Amo Jones. This is a Naima rec from Naima Reads. I know she wants me to read this, and I do want to read this. I might do a vlog where I read like a bunch of books that I'm like putting off or something, but I don't know anything about this besides the fact that the front pages are like, this is the darkest book I've ever written. So I'm like, oh, okay. I can handle that. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Probably will be fine though. Then we have Stolen Air by Sophie Lark. This is the second book in her Brutal something. I read Brutal Prince, which we'll talk about in a minute. This is the second book, so as soon as I finished Brutal Prince, I threw this onto my Kindle because when the mood strikes. Next is The Risk by S.T. Abbey. I know that Riley over at Riley Marie read this recently and really loved it and stayed up all night. It's only like 100 pages. It's definitely one I will be getting to sooner than later. And I'm really excited to read. It's about a serial killer lady and her FBI agent. Then I have Maybe One More Time by Christina C. Jones. I always have a Christina C. Jones, at least one, checked out at all times. Just to slowly start tackling her backlist. It's kind of the best method for me, just to make sure I always have one in rotation. Then we have The Predator by Rue Nix. I had this out for the Dark Romance weekend or the Mafia weekend. I don't remember. But a lot of people really like this. It's supposed to be real dark, real fucked up mafia romance. It's just long, so I haven't checked it out. I don't know a lot about it. I'm very curious. I also have Carnal Urges by J.T. Gessinger, which is the sequel to Beautiful Ruthless Creature, something like that, whatever it was, the first book, which I really liked, and I really want to read book 2 because book 1 ended on a cliffhanger for what's happening in book 2, and I need to get to it. But I really liked the first book, so I know I'm excited to see more of this world explored and to see her best friend's love story. I also have No Holds Barred by Stephanie Nicole Norris, pulled out. 1, this cover is stunning. 2, everyone I know that's read it pretty much has liked it. I just keep forgetting to read it. Like everything, I don't know a lot about it, honestly. I know it's Black Love and that's about it. And I think Ashley from Bookish Realm liked it, and somebody else I know read it and liked it, and I cannot remember who, and that's why I did it up on my TBR. I also have Gilded Rose by Emma Hamm out. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. We are going to be reading this with my members in November for my birthday month, because I love Beauty and the Beast, so I felt like it was the perfect way to celebrate my birthday month, was to read a Beauty and the Beast retelling situation for my birthday. So if you're interested in reading it with us, you can sign up in November, join us for the month, and leave. I don't mind, it does not matter. Low-key, no pressure, but I'm really excited for this. I don't think I've read Emma Hamm before, so I'm very curious to see what I think. And she has a lot of stuff like this, so that's nice. Then we have Priceless by Miranda Silver. This is an age gap college romance. It is a college kid and an older man, and he's paying her for sex, and it's supposed to be real fucked up, but real good. And honestly, it just sounded so good. Everyone on Twitter was talking about it, and I was like, I need this. I need this in my life. So I went and clicked it on Kindle Unlimited, because this is what I do. It's a problem. Then I have The Heir and the Rebel by Sophie Lark out as well. So this is the kids series. I'm trying to read them in order, but I may bop back and forth some. I'm not sure yet, but I just have these two out because why not? I also have That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. This looks so cute. This is like a fun illustrated cover. And all I know is that she like gets drunk and saves a demon who was like trying to kill a witch, is what the summary looks like. I don't know a lot. It got recommended to me in the monster / weird romance group I'm in, so that was a fun time. I also have Headless by Avita Weiss out. This is probably my October members pick. It's a 15-page Sleepy Hollow novella, and I'm just really excited to read it. When I saw it, I was like, you're saving this for October. And I am. Like, I'm literally going to read it the first week of October, whether it wins the vote or not. So I can't wait. And then last, I have Games We Play by Dana Isley. I saw this on TikTok. The author was posting bad reviews of the book, and like, they were so good. So first of all, this book made me assume, and I don't feel like I'm off on this, okay? This feels like Corpse Husband fan fiction. It is about a gamer who wears a mask, and it's like a one-night stand. Apparently there is a lot of interesting kinks in this book. So I'm very excited to see about that, including like a dog one. I don't think I've read that before, to be honest, so that should be interesting. And a lot of the reviews were like commenting on that, and I was just like, I'm curious. But yeah, it's like a deep voiced gamer boy, and their one night stand, and it's real hot. It doesn't take much to sell me. Bad reviews especially sell me on books. I don't know if I'm weird about that, but like, I feel like a bad review can be like, well, I gotta figure this out for myself now. Y'all ready to talk about all the books I've read? So I've got a good stack this time, thank goodness. I'm gonna do the two Shea Sanders together. So I read two Shea Sanders. First, I read A Flick Between Friends. This is later in the series, and this follows two coworkers who are laid off and they're friends, and it follows them creating porn together, and it's great. It was a fun time, and falling in love, and it was really, really cute. Our female main character was very, very pushy with our hero in a way that was kind of fun, because he liked it. Like, you could tell he wasn't like mad about it, but like he went skydiving because she like bullied him into it, kind of. But he was like, it's fine, I wanted to do it, it's cool. Like, okay man, all right. And then it's a lot of them like, man, the sex is really good, I can't have feelings for you. And then they're like, oh no, I have feelings, which, favorite thing. Love when that happens. So this was just really, really fun, a quick, dirty, dirty book. And then I read Take It by Shea Sanders because I thought I'd go back and start the series, and I gave this one, so I gave A Flick Between Friends like a solid 4, and I would say Take It's like a 3.5, because it was good. It's also co-workers. It's a lady and her boss, and she's like getting a promotion, and they end up hooking up right before she gets promoted. Then it worked well. Like, it actually worked for me. I wasn't like icked out the whole time. I didn't love the Me Too jokes in the book, which a lot of other people commented on. That was definitely not cool, but like, it still worked outside of that. And I think I expected the setup for this to not work so hard that I was just stunned at work. So I gave it like a 4, but I think it's more of a 3.5 the more I think about it. But I definitely think you could start this series anywhere a little bit. You can definitely start with a flick between friends, so you don't really need the context of anyone else's relationship so far in this series. But yeah, these were just fun, quick novellas. I'm excited to read more from Shea Sanders. Then I read Den of Vipers, which I read for the Dark Romance Weekend readathon. And yeah, that's a book I read. I buddy read this with Shay from over at Shay Geeks Out. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I do want to say you need to look at every single content warning for this book. It's probably more of a 3.5, which I probably noted in my review. But I expected a lot worse from this book. I do think it was a little too long, but it was really fun in a way that I did not expect. I will quickly, before I finish, I'll go through all the content warnings that I noted for y'all. Yeah, it was a lot more fun than I expected. We definitely have a pick-me type female main character. We definitely have a pick-me female main character in this one, and that's fine. Not my fave, but also she has to be like toe-to-toe with these guys, because they're a lot. I do think it needed a very thorough edit. It was a way too long. I would say if you're curious, try it, but just DNF it if you don't like it after a few chapters. The content warnings on this are child abuse, assault, kidnapping, captive captor, dubious consent, pain, blood play, gore, violence, and torture. Yeah, it's got a lot. So proceed with caution, but it was still a really fun time. Next, I read Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. I gave this 4 stars as well. This is a enemies to lovers situation. So our female main character ends up sneaking into our male main character's house, like family house, for his sister's birthday party, and like gets caught, and they have like this whole situation go down. And in order to right the situation, the two of them have to get married, but they hate each other. And it is so delightful. It was just a big surprise for me. I did not think I would like this as much as I did. I feel like it was pretty light on the mafia, honestly. It's more just like enemies to lovers, like their families hate each other, enemies to lovers, than like mafia. But it was just so fun. She was just kind of a free-spirited person, and he is a very like straight and buttoned up person, like to the point at which they would pick out her outfits for her because they were afraid of what she would show up in. All right, the next one I read was Maybe This Time by Christina C. Jones. Another quick novella. This is friends who have been friends for like 20 years deciding to get together. They wake up married in Vegas, and it just kind of goes from there. I don't want to give you too much because it's 87 pages. It's not long. But I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, as I enjoy every single Christina C. Jones book. So I'm telling you, she doesn't miss for me. So it's gonna be very rare that I give a book by her less than 4 stars. Probably less than 3.5. I'm sure there's gonna be a few, but that's okay. Next, we have Promises and Pomegranates, which I read for my Hades and Persephone retelling vlog. So this I really liked, and I totally know why it would not work for a lot of people, but for some reason it really worked for me. Probably because the one before it I didn't love as much. This is also a dark romance. It is a Hades and Persephone loose retelling. It follows Elena, who she's gonna be married to this like kind of shitty guy, and her father's top hitman kind of situation, his fixer sort of, I guess, Cal, ends up kidnapping her at their wedding. Kidnaps her at the wedding basically and forces the priest to marry them. And it goes from there. It is petty. It is a lot. It is not going to be for everyone. But if you want just a book that is like compulsively readable, I think this could work for you. If you want a book with a lot of fucked up shit, this could work for you. But it may not. It may not. I honestly, it's a very hard one to wreck. It really hit the spot for me. Again, I think it's one of those ones that's going to be really subjective to the person, and it's not going to work for a lot of people. Quick content warnings on this though: body modification, kidnapping, murder, general gore, torture, and CNC. You know, I had fun, and it was a 4-star for me. So take that as you will. Then I read Morning Glory Milking Farm by CM Nacosta, whatever, I don't know. This one with Rourke, and this was a pleasant surprise. I'm not gonna say I thought I would hate it, because I didn't think I would hate it. I didn't expect the level of cutesy, sweet romance in this. I mean, one, that cover. That covers a lot. This was also a 4-star for me. But I just like, Violet is like starting a new job at the farm, the Morning Glory Milking Farm. And Rourke ends up being one of her first like solo clients, and they have like a weird connection, and he keeps coming back and requesting her, and then they go out on a date, and it just worked. Again, you have to set aside a lot of stuff when it comes to the monster and weird romances sometimes. Now, I'm not saying you like set aside morals or like standings. I'm saying you have to like the dynamics. You just have to kind of like let it work. But it was really interesting because like she tried to hook up with him at her apartment, and he was like, no, we have to go to my house to do anything because like his hooves, because he's a minotaur. And it was so good. But also 24 ounces of liquid. So if you are liquid averse, do not pick this book up because it's a lot of liquids. 24 whole ounces. And there's a lot of talk about her having to like jerk off the minotaurs for the collection stuff to make this like Viagra for human men. That's what they're doing at this place. And then like the minotaurs get paid, and it's a really big money maker. It's weird, but it is so good. And I want to live in this town where it takes place in Cambric Creek so bad. I want it to be a real place because it was so freaking cool. Like, it just sounded like such a fun place to live. So that's Morning Glory Milking Farm. Next, we have Chastely Bitten by Lexi C. Foss. I read this for my Hia Booktube's readathon vlog, and this was a 4-star for me, maybe a 3.5. I don't know. I'm still really torn. I talked about it in my mid-month. I just have mixed feelings on this. This is a vampire romance, well, it's paranormal. There's other things in the world too. Anyways, Darius buys his bride situation, who's like a pure blood, like supposed to be this pure status marker, Juliet, and like Juliet's just like not terrible, but she just kind of was too much of a pushover for me in a weird way. And I know some of it was a byproduct of how she was raised and trained to be, but it just felt weird. But I also like left it being like, I could read more of this. I could read more of this. So like, that's why I'm like 3.5, 4, I don't know, somewhere in there. This I actually listened to on Hoopla, by the way, and didn't read, but I do think it's an interesting world being set up. So I'm curious to see where it goes if I continue versus where it is in that first book. Next, I read Evil Twin by Katie Wilde, and I loved this. I gave Evil Twin 5 stars. I really liked this. So this follows two sets of twins. So we have our twins Thomas and Bane, and then Saphira and Echo. So Bane goes to try and claim Thomas's wife before their wedding and get caught doing so, and Echo does the same. So it ends up her and Bane together, and there was just such a delightful, oh my gosh, it was so good, scenes with them, and like their banter is so good, and he's like so supportive of her, and she doesn't believe it because like her whole life she's been told she's evil. He's also been told he's evil, and it turns out that like maybe they're not the evil twins actually, you know, it might be somebody else. And then there's this really interesting scene in a carriage, and it was really good. Really, really good. I really enjoyed this book. I'm not surprised. Katie Wilde usually works for me, not always, but certain ones like this do work for me really well from her. The last book I read on KU was Stolen by the Wolves by Lex Robinson. I also read this for the Hia reading vlog, and I gave this a 3.5. This, for me, it's a Viking omegaverse, first of all, but for me, it was so slow. And that's on me because it's a fantasy, so like I should have expected it to be as slow as it was. And it's a 3-book series, so like of course not a lot's gonna happen in book 1. But I'm excited to pick up book 2 at some point, and I'm curious to see where it goes. I really liked how the world was set up and how the different peoples and cultures treated the omegas and the alpha situation, like how that worked. So like most of them obviously revered the omegas, but the boys who were like infected with the alpha stuff would like get murdered in some of the cultures if they couldn't control themselves on like a certain night at a certain age. And then other ones, like they taught them how to control themselves, like the Vikings. And yeah, so it's really interesting. It's a very unique, it's probably one of the most unique omega verses I've read so far, so I'm definitely like going to finish the series at some point. But I know that like I want both books to be out so I can just go through both of them and like literally finish the story. So we'll see. We'll see. I definitely think this is one that if you like fantasy romance, you will really like this. And it's not that I don't like fantasy romance, it's that I struggle with books that feel long right now, and this felt a little bit long overall. So yeah, that is it for my Kindle Unlimited TBR and check-in. Let me know what you've been reading on Kindle Unlimited lately, and if you don't want to do that, leave me a dinosaur emoji in the comments. And I will see y'all in just a few days with my next video. You'll find links to all those books in the description box, as well as links to be my friend on the internet. Bye!
Packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.